Can Kemar Roofe save Derby County's season? That's a massive question on the lips of Derby County fans after his arrival yesterday afternoon. In my opinion, it's a massive, massive signing and a real show of where Derby County are trying to go over the course of the next few weeks. Kemar Roofe obviously comes in after not having a club since July of 2024, where he left Rangers after a disappointing season. Now, Kemar Roofe knows where the onion bag is. He knows how to score goals, and he's done that across the course of his career. I think it's been really disappointing to see some of the discussions that have gone on over the course of the last 24 or so hours since Kemar Roofe was announced. Obviously, there's a lot of people talking about his 23-24 season, where he only scored 2 goals and collected 1 assist. But I think it's really important to look at the minutes that he played. It was only 706 minutes across all competitions in 24 games. That works out at an average of about 29 minutes per game. And there's not a lot that you really can do when you're only playing 29 minutes a game. You'll see it from Derby County players all the time, that coming off the bench is very, very difficult, and having an impact is also very, very difficult. There's some players that make an art from it. And then if you go through to the 22-23 season, only 148 minutes across 6 appearances, but scored 2 goals within that time period. Obviously, again, lack of minutes, lack of opportunities. I do believe that he did have, obviously, some injuries across the course of these time periods, which is obviously sort of a big issue, especially for Derby County. When you look at the injury history of Derby County, you go back to 2023, where he missed 66 days and 12 games with an unknown injury, missed 221 days with a knee injury from October 22 to June 2023, and then a knee injury again, which missed 153 days from May until October of 2022, while he was at, is that Anderlecht? It might have been Rangers. But there's obviously been a fair few injury problems for Kemar Roofe since 18-19 up until 23-24. But the big question will be, is can he find a level at Derby County where he's really going to be able to hit that sort of peak performance and score a few goals? Now, the important thing that we have to discuss for me is the fact that he's played across the course of many different positions, whether it be on the left, whether it be on the right, or through the middle. And that's massive for me. I spoke about it yesterday in his intro video, which I did, where I discussed his career and where he could potentially play and how he could potentially impact this Derby County side, as well as the highlight package that was alongside it. And I believe that he's going to play centre forward for us for the rest of the season. I think there's definitely a possibility. We know he's not necessarily going to be available for this weekend's game. He'll probably be involved in the squad, maybe get 20-30 minutes off the bench, but ultimately, with not having a club and not being necessarily football fit, it's going to be really hard to sort of slot him in straight away for 90 minutes, which obviously will not happen. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes with the likes of Jorgen Salveson and Jerry Yates up front. Will we stick with that 4-4-2, or will we go to sort of a 4-2-3-1 and give Kenzo a little bit more freedom? Obviously, with David Ozo and Nat Phillips sort of on the periphery of returning, it sort of gives Derby a few more extra options off the bench with the introduction of Kemar Roofe. But if we look through his career as a whole, 134 goals, 57 assists across 404 appearances. I think we've got a massive opportunity here to utilise Kemar Roofe in a way that we did with Dwight Gale. Obviously, we brought Dwight Gale in on a short-term deal across the course of, did we bring him in at the end of February? In last season in the League One campaign, he scored 3 or 4 goals, which were in big wins, where Derby County then went on to secure promotion. And if Kemar Roofe scores in the 87th minute to help us secure a 1-0 victory versus Millwall at the weekend, it's going to be a saviour. That's 3 points on the board. If he then scores again versus, who do we play after? There's a Middlesbrough game, there's Plymouth. If he scores in any of those games and we pick up points, it's a massive, massive deal for Derby County. And obviously, we really need to get some points on the board to take us into a little bit closer to that step of survival. I do believe a lot of people will say it's probably 50 points to stay up. I'm sort of getting the vibe that this year it's going to be around 45, given the way that the league table is currently looking. So Derby County are in a position where they need about 15, 16 points across the course of the last 13 games, which isn't impossible. We started off the season picking up 12 points in 4 home games. I think it was 12 points in about 8 games in all competitions. And Derby County are finishing this season quite strongly, really, when it comes to home games. We've played 16 out of our 29 at home. and 17 out of the 29 away from home. So it's going to be, well, it's not 29, it's 33, sorry. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this goes. Obviously, having those extra home matches is going to be massively important for Derby County. And obviously, if you look at Derby County when it comes to like where we should be in the division, we're underperforming on XG, we're underperforming on goals conceded, we're underperforming on points, and we're also underperforming on league table. If you look at that XG table, it says that Derby County should be sitting in 18th with 41 points on the board, which, in my opinion, I don't necessarily agree with. I do think we've dropped a whole range of points from silly positions. Now, can Kemar Roofe come in and increase that XG, increase that points tally, and stop goals being scored against us? Now, obviously, he's not going to be involved in that sort of defensive aspect of the game. Obviously, defending does start from the front, but ultimately a lot of our goals don't come from those sorts of situations. It comes from us missing balls in midfield, making poor challenges and making poor mistakes. Obviously, if you did look back at the QPR game, obviously, all 4 of the goals came from individual errors across the board, really. It wasn't necessarily one individual player. There was a range of different players who were involved in a catalogue of errors, and obviously we had opportunities to score goals. We did, and we didn't take them, and we didn't create many great opportunities within that game. QPR are a lot more clinical than us. I actually think we created a better selection of chances across the course of the game than they did, and obviously they came away 4-0 victors, which ultimately speaks volumes of the way Derby County have been playing across the course of the last few months. Now, Kemar Roofe scores goals. He does. He knows where the onion bag is. Even if he doesn't play, and he spends the next 3 months until the season ends, and he spends that next 3 months putting balls in the back of the net in training, helping to aid with chance creation. I do think he will play. I do think he will score goals. But even if that's all he did was help build confidence in Jerry Yates and Lars-Jørgen Salverson, that's massive for us, because I do believe that those 2 players can score goals. In fact, I think all 3 of the strikers that we have on the books now, in Kemar Roofe, in Jørgen Salverson, and in Kemar Roofe, Jerry Yates, Jørgen Salverson, I've probably just gone over them 2-3 times there. Sorry, autism kicking in. But I do believe that they can have a massive impact on the season. And I do believe that all 3 of them are top quality Championship centre forwards. The big question is where is that creativity coming from? And I'm looking at the likes of Harrison Armstrong. I'm looking at the likes of Kenzo Houdmine. I'm looking at the likes of Marcus Harness and Nathaniel Mendez-Lang to be able to add that creative spark, and even a player in the name of Caden Jackson. Now, obviously, these players have been underperforming over the past few months, and that's why it's really important to build more confidence into those players, to be able to truly build sort of a creative perspective on build-up play and things like that. Something that they've not had, some of them for 3 years, 2-3 years since Paul Warne joined, some of them that haven't had it since they joined the club in the summer, and it's going to be interesting to see how it does develop. You lot can obviously have your say down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell, as well as hitting the like button to let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit all of them buttons. Let me know your thoughts down below. Check out my previous video about the new additions to the coaching staff, and I'll catch you tomorrow for Derby County versus Millwall matchday vlog.